That's good. One vote will do. Let's keep it legal. So, hello, Fraser Exchange Club. It is so great to be here amongst family. And I was talking to my daughter last night, and I said, you know, if I can't get a speech in front of Fraser Exchange Club, then I can't get a speech anywhere, because this is the home team advantage, right? So I also thought about, it's like, well, you know, y'all know me, but there's always more to learn about someone, right? So I wanted to share a little bit about myself, background, and then a little bit about why I've chosen to run and what I hope to kind of work on as a city councilwoman in Super District 9 Position 2. I am Memphis made. I was born into a family where my father was a founding professor of the Cecil C. Humphrey School of Law. And my mother was an administrator at Memphis Mental Health Institute and was on the team that founded the first ever alcohol and drug treatment unit in the state of Tennessee. I am Memphis made. As a young person, I attended and graduated from Memphis City Schools. From 3rd through 12th grade, I swam for the Memphis State Swimmin' Tigers and later earned my bachelor's degree from Memphis State University. I will always call it Memphis State University. That's what's on my diploma. I am Memphis made. I worked for Park Services as a gymnastics instructor at Marion Hill Community Center and was head lifeguard at the Willow Pool for a number of years. As an adult, I provided professional development training for all of the community center's directors to prepare for summer programming and led and facilitated a system-wide strategic planning process, including community members from every community center. I've also been appointed and a member of the Memphis City Beautiful Commission. I am Memphis made. I've had leadership roles in 2 anchor organizations that have experienced tremendous growth in my leadership term, both Bridges and Girls Inc. At Bridges, we built a facility and invested millions of dollars in North Memphis and grew the number of kids getting leadership development training. As CEO now at Girls Inc. of Memphis, not only are we growing the number of girls tremendously that we're serving with impactful outcome-based programming, but we're also investing millions of dollars in critical, vital communities of Sherwood Forest, North Memphis, South Memphis, and Fraser. I am Memphis made. As a leadership trainer at FedEx Services, I developed and facilitated the new manager onboarding program for all new managers at FedEx. I also was responsible for putting together and leading the development program for aspiring directors called Purple Pipeline. I was a lead trainer for the company-wide culture shaping initiative where we served 18,000 employees over a year. And as founder of Dancing Water, my own consulting practice where I provide professional development, I have led organizational training for city employees in red carpet customer service, in their emerging leaders program, as well as youth service professional development. I've even had the opportunity, at the request of then Chairman Myron Lowry, to facilitate a workshop with the City Council. At the time, Mayor Strickland was a councilman and was a participant in that training. I am Memphis made. As a citizen of this great city, I've worked with coalitions of passionate people to address issues of vital importance to our city, including Common Ground, conversations on race, communities, and action, middle school reform with Legacy Memphis City Schools, Seeding Success, launching Cradle to Career benchmark work throughout the city, and most recently, as you're well aware, helping lead the effort of Citizens Against the Fraser Landfill, where we successfully fought the machine and helped it across the We all had a part of that one. I was glad to play a role. I am Memphis made. The grit and grind of this city I love has molded me into the confident, capable leader that I am today. This great city has filled me with the strength to keep it real, handle the business at hand, make hard decisions, take on and embrace steep learning curves, and build and motivate community collaborations to effect positive change that impact people's lives for real. And you may be thinking, that's all great. That sounds good, but what you gonna do now? That's in the past. What's going forward? Well, I had to tell you that last year, you may recall, this time last year, we were all suffering from the effects of that dramatic windstorm that hit Fraser the hardest. I too was without AC at my house for a week. We were getting our summer programs launched. I was helping Charlie Caswell take resources and connect Fraser residents to resources. I had a girl that I took to UT Chattanooga so that she could go to her college orientation. And honestly, at the end of that week, in the midst of everything, I hit a wall. I hit a wall hard, and I needed a break, and I needed to renew. So on my way home from Chattanooga, I stopped at a friend's lake house for some time of solitude by myself. And I was reading a book that I highly recommend, 2 books by Andy Andrews. One, it's called The Noticer. Jot that down. The other one's The Noticer Returns. The Noticer Returns is the second book that I was reading at the time of my challenge a year ago. And I reached the end of the book, and there was a quote that was happening that really hit me hard. So the main character of the book was complaining and was in despair, sharing with the noticer, his mentor, how he felt that the nation was in a place of darkness, and that the culture was taking a dive, that politicians were failing us, and he just couldn't see a way out of it. Like the bad guys were winning. And I was thinking to myself a year ago, feels very familiar to me. And I was right in there complaining with him. So his mentor listened calmly and then said, and this is a quote from the book, "If you see the world as darkening, if you believe your nation's culture is dimming by the year, don't blame it on the dark. Darkness is doing what the darkness does. If darkness is winning, my friend, it's winning because light is not doing its job. You are the light, so wake up. Wake up. Wake up." Well, I don't know about you, but that sent me to my knees. It sent me to my knees. We're all familiar, I'm certainly familiar with Dr. King's quote about light driving out darkness. We know it, but honestly, that statement sent me to my knees and asking, "Dear God, how can I best be the light?" And I was full of questions. So my work at Girls Inc. is no doubt the work of the light. Knowing in our city that 52% of the population is female, 40% of households are led by single women, and another 50% of households are headed by married couples, if you combine those, the reality is 90% of the households in Memphis are impacted by a woman's ability to earn. That fact, and the fact that in every zip code, females earn less than their male counterparts. Equipping girls to succeed, to be women that have the ability to earn and be quality heads of households, is the work of the light. I've dedicated my professional career to that work. The bigger reality that churns inside of me, that really gets my soul going, is these facts. Nearly 64% of Memphis residents are African American. And we talk a lot about we need to build prosperity, we need to end poverty in Memphis. But when you really want to get real about it, there's this great model we look at Girls Inc. about the accountability ladder. And the only way that we can really change things is if we are fully accountable. The only way to be fully accountable is to get to a place where you can acknowledge reality. If you're putting your head in the sand and acting like stuff isn't doing, or what, there's a problem, just denying or to hope and wait that something will change, that's low on the accountability ladder. But if you get to a place of acknowledging reality, then you can start coming up with creative solutions and address what each person's role is in changing that. So I want to really be fully accountable to some realities that we have to own. You got 64% of Memphis residents are African American. What do you think the median household income for African Americans in Memphis is? 25, 28, 30, $34,164. What do you think the median outcome is for the whites in Memphis? $75,676. We have a problem that we need to own. Right on, white folk making $75,000. How do we increase the prosperity of 64% of our population that's making half? We got to own that, and we got some work to do. This is why I've decided to run for city council. I want to be a beacon of light, to bring a perspective of honesty, of clarity, of what does the data say? What are the systems that the city council actually has the ability to affect? And how can we work to really mobilize not only city government, but the community to be collective in working towards wholeness? I want to focus my work in 3 areas: neighborhoods, prosperity, and health. For example, are you cutting me off? I'm almost done.
Okay.
I'm on a roll, Shelley. So an example in neighborhoods is to really seek citywide investment, not just investment downtown. And, y'all know my favorite, strengthen zoning laws. Prosperity. Why can't we do better by public transportation and mobilize neighborhood-based incubators of business and mentorship? And then health, really reinvest in our community centers and parks to be hubs of hope in our neighborhoods to address ACE awareness and mental health in addition to other things. I'm finishing up. Thank you. You have an important decision to make. You will cast votes, yes you will, on August 2nd.